The lob is probably one of the most misunderstood shots in all of pickleball. Ask 10 different players what they think about it and you'll probably get 10 different answers. Some players love the lob and throw one up every chance they get. Others think it's a terrible shot that should never be used within the game. The truth is, both groups are missing the point. The lob isn't a gimmick and it's not a bailout shot. It's a strategic offensive weapon when it's used in the right situation. The problem is that most recreational players don't understand when to use it, so they either avoid it completely or they use it at exactly the wrong time. In this video, I'm going to show you when it makes sense to lob and when it doesn't, and how to hit one that your opponents never see coming.
Before we do that, it's really hot out here.
I know it. Pool?
Yeah, let's go.
Ah, that's much better. Hi, I'm Xavier, and this is my dad, and we help 3.0 and 3.5 players who are stuck become confident and respected 4.0 players so they can play smarter, get invited to higher level games, and finally feel proud of their performance on the court.
Now, before we get into the teaching about my favorite shot in pickleball, take a second and hit that subscribe button, like the video, hit the bell, so that you never miss when a new video drops. And you'll want to stick around to the end of the video where we'll show you where you can enter to win one of our signature paddles, the PaddleBoss Pro. When it comes to the lob at the 3.0 and 3.5 level, it's really a mindset shift. The purpose of the lob is different than you might think. What we see all the time is people lob from the baseline when they could just hit a drop shot or they could hit a drive. They have lots of different options and they choose to hit a lob from the baseline. The reason this is not a good shot is because you're in a defensive position. Your opponents are at the non-volley zone, you and your partner are at the baseline, and you choose to hit a lob. Okay, there's not really a good way to disguise your lob from the baseline, and by the time you actually hit that, they have a couple seconds to take a couple steps back, and by the time the ball is over their head, it's actually a perfect overhead shot, and they can put the ball away like that. So hitting a lob from the baseline, not a good situation. The second one that's not a good situation is when you're kind of scrambling around. Maybe you're in the transition zone and you decide, because you're a little bit in duress, to just throw up a lob hoping that something happens from that point. Again, you're on defense and you're not in control of the point. We think that you should only lob when you're in control of the point, which would be right here at the non-volley zone. All 4 players are at the non-volley zone. It's a neutral situation where we're dinking back and forth. And if you pretend like you're going to dink, have the same motion, and then just lift that ball over their head, the ball is over their head before they even knew what happened. This is a great scenario and totally puts your opponents on the defensive. Like I've said many times before, you could be playing against Ben Johns, and if you hit a great lob over his head, he still has to go back for it, and we put him in a defensive position. So that's why we like to hit the lob as an offensive shot when the point is neutral.
The most important part about actually executing the lob is going to be disguise, or the element of surprise. Being able to make it look like you're going to do one thing, and then before your opponents even know it, the ball's already over their head, and they're really on the defense scrambling to get back there to return your lob. And so the best way to be able to disguise this shot is by making it look like a dink. Exactly like a dink. You're going to set up exactly the same way. You're going to start your motion the exact same way. And then the only difference mechanically between a dink and a lob is going to be the follow through. Meaning with a dink, I set up like this, I'm going to swing and I maybe follow through to right there, aiming cross court this way. With a lob, all I do is lengthen that follow through. So I set up exactly the same way, I start my motion the exact same way, and then I just follow through in the upwards direction, really getting underneath the ball and lifting over my opponents that way. So hopefully, because you set up the exact same way, you start your swing the exact same way, they should be suspecting that it's just going to look like any other dink that you've been hitting the entire game. And before they know it, because of that lengthened follow through, it's going to be too late. That ball's going to be going over their head, and they're going to be scrambling to try and get back into this point from a defensive position. One important thing to mention, and this is the mistake that I see really often when people start finding success with the lobs, is that they absolutely fall in love with it and they start to hit it every single point. And so one of the things that makes the lob less effective once you start doing it is using it too often. This is something that you want to sprinkle in every so often because it allows that disguise and element of surprise aspect of the lob to be effective. You're not going to surprise anybody if you're doing this every single point. So make sure you're only doing this maybe once, twice, maybe 3 times a game, and you split it up amongst your points so that way you're not doing it over and over and over again. The reason for that is your opponents, if they can expect it every point, they stop respecting your dinks. They know that all they have to do is hit a couple in a row, and then eventually you're going to hit a lob, and so they're expecting it. They take maybe a couple steps off the line, and then they're ready for this overhead right here. You never want that to happen. You always want them to be kind of on their toes, not being able to know what's going to happen. So dink until you kind of lull them into complacency, and then as soon as they least expect it, as soon as they just think that you're gonna hit another dink, throw up that lob over their heads.
All right, now we're gonna do a little bit of a demonstration of what it looks like to lob after dinking back and forth, but I also wanna mention, like, where do you wanna place your lob? That's a question that we get consistently. And so if you have your two opponents right here, what you wanna do is hit to their backhand side. So a lot of times I will hit a cross-court lob, so it's out of reach of the person that's right in front of me, and it's a backhand shot for the person that's cross-court from me. So I'm still disguising like I'm hitting a cross-court dink, but this time I'm hitting a lob up over his head, but I'm trying to hit that back corner. That's a good shot. The other shot that might be good is over the backhand side of the person right across from you. So that's gonna be that corner. So the two different corners are usually pretty good. You're working with low margin if you hit this corner. If you hit it out of bounds, you know, you're kind of messing with the line right there. But if you can keep it in bounds a couple feet, still over their backhand, that's a good shot as well. All right, so here's what it looks like. We're just dinking. And for me, I like to hit my lobs out of the air. It actually takes a split second from the point, so it's even more effective. And so I wait for a ball out of the air, goes to the baseline like that, and now he has to work his way back to get into the kitchen. The other thing you need to discover before you start doing lobs is, what are you most comfortable with? Are you comfortable hitting a lob off the bounce or out of the air like I just demonstrated? Forehand or backhand? Honestly, out of the air for me is the best. Whether it's forehand or backhand, I feel really comfortable with that. And I found a lot of times I'll try off the bounce and they're just horrible lobs. So for me, I know never hit a lob off the bounce. I'm gonna show you what that looks like actually. We'll see how bad my off the bounce lob is. All right, so we're doing this. I should have taken that one out of the air. And then I decided to lob like that. And there it is. He's just gonna hammer that ball because I don't know what it is, but I just don't hit that one very well. So decide what's best for you. Forehand, backhand, out of the air, off the bounce.
Now, if this video was interesting and it piqued your curiosity about pickleball strategy, then I think you're really going to enjoy our free mini doubles playbook. One of the biggest differences between 3-5 players and advanced players isn't that they hit the ball harder or they have more athleticism. It's that they have a plan. They know what they're trying to accomplish during each point, and they use simple, repeatable plays to put themselves in winning positions.
The lob is just one example of that. It's not a trick shot. It's a strategic tool that works because it's used at the right time. In our free mini playbook, we break down 5 of our favorite doubles plays that you can start using immediately to make better decisions, create more opportunities, and win more points without having to hit lower percentage shots. You can download the mini playbook completely free using the link in the description below. And if you download the mini playbook, you'll automatically be entered into a drawing for one of our signature paddles, the Spin Boss Pro. And if you want to learn more about the 3 most important things to start improving your pickleball, I want you to click this video right here, which talks about the 3 S's of pickleball improvement. The other thing you need to do, my dink looks like, and then I just pop it up over his head and he slams it. Hitting lobs out of the air. So if there was one that comes like that, and I can,
hit the camera.
wow, with the wind, hit the camera.